وألقى في الأرض رواسي أن تميد بكم وأنهارا وسبلا لعلكم تهتدون.
And he has placed firm mountains on the earth, lest it should move away from you, and has made rivers and tracks, that you may find your way.
12. This shows that the real function of mountains is to regulate the motion and speed of the earth. We have come to this conclusion, for the Quran has made this benefit of mountains very prominent in many places. Therefore, their other benefits should be regarded as incidental. 13. Natural ways are those routes which are formed along the banks of streams, ravines and rivers. Though the importance of these ways is great even in the plains, one feels their sole need, especially in the mountainous regions.
وَعَلَامَاتٍ وَبِالنَّجْمِ هُمْ يَهْتَدُونَ.
And he has set other landmarks in the earth, and by the stars too do people find their way.
14. This is a sign of Allah that He has broken the monotony of land by placing conspicuous landmarks on it to distinguish different regions from one another. These have many benefits, and one of these is to help guide travelers and navigators to their destinations. One also realizes the importance and value of these landmarks when one is traveling through a sandy desert where there are hardly any objects to guide on the way, and one is liable to lose the way any time. One feels the lack of landmarks much more in the sea voyage. It is in the deserts and the seas that people realize the true significance of stars by which they are directed aright to their destinations. This verse contains arguments for Tawheed, providence, and compassion of Allah, and also a proof of prophethood. For the mind is instinctively turned towards this question: can it be possible that Allah, who has made so elaborate arrangements for man's guidance to fulfill his physical needs, has neglected to provide for his moral and spiritual needs? It cannot be so, for it is obvious that even the greatest loss of some physical necessity due to the adoption of a wrong way is nothing as compared with the loss of spiritual and moral values due to deviation from the right way. It would be nothing less than having doubt in Allah's compassion and providence to think that He, who had made so elaborate provision for man's guidance on land and sea by creating mountains, rivers, stars and other objects, would have neglected to make provision for his moral and spiritual guidance. And it stands to reason that He must have provided prominent beacons of light to guide man to that right way of life which is indispensable to his true success. 15. In ayats 4 to 16, some signs have been mentioned in succession in order to focus people's attention on the creation of man himself and of the earth and the heavens. They will thus find that everything supports the truth of the doctrines taught by the Prophet, peace be upon him. A critical study of all these signs shows that these must have been designed and created by an all-wise being, and one being alone, and there could not have been any partner or associate to help him. Let us consider this theme from the point of view of man, the central figure in the creation. This wonderful being, who is able to speak with his tongue and is capable of arguing his case with it, has been created from an insignificant sperm drop. Then many animals have been created to satisfy the necessities of his life. They provide food, clothing and conveyance for him and help satisfy his aesthetic taste as well. Then there is a remarkable system of rainwater from the sky to produce crops, fruits and verdure, etc. on the earth to fulfill man's needs. Then there is the creation of regular days and nights and seasons, which are closely connected with all kinds of production of the earth, and also with man's general well-being. Then there are oceans, which help fulfill many of his physical and aesthetic demands and provide waterways for traffic. Likewise, mountains have been created to provide man with many benefits. Then there are landmarks on the earth and stars in the heavens to guide travelers and navigators to the destinations. In short, there are innumerable signs in the earth and the heavens which are closely interconnected and are also indispensable to man's welfare, nay, to his very existence. All these are clear proofs that only one being has designed the entire universe and created it in accordance with that design. It is He who is all the time creating new things to fit in that scheme, and working this wonderful universe that spreads from the earth to boundless heavens. Who can then claim, except a foolish or obdurate person, that all this has come into existence by a mere accident? Or, who can say that these different aspects, which are working under a perfect system and are intimately connected with one another and are well balanced, have been created by different gods and are under the control of different guardians?
أَفَمَن يَخْلُقُ كَمَن لَّا يَخْلُقُ أَفَلَا تَذَكَّرُونَ
Is then the one who creates like the one who does not create? Will you not then take heed?
16. That is, if you, people of Mecca, acknowledge, and they acknowledged this just as other mushriks did, that Allah alone is the creator of all of you and everything, and no one of the partners you have set up with him has created anything in the universe. How is it, then, that you ascribe from among the creation a status equal to or like that of the creator in the system of universe created by him? How can it be possible that the power and the rights of the creation should be equal to the power and the rights of the creator in the universe created by himself? How can it be believed that the creator and the creation possess the same qualities and characteristics, or can have such relationship as of father and son?
وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَغَفُورٌ رَّحِيمٌ
For were you to count the favors of Allah, you will not be able to count them. Surely, Allah is ever forgiving, most merciful.
17. Here the connection of Allah's attributes, forgiving and compassionate, with the preceding verse is so obvious that it has been left unmentioned. It is this: though Allah goes on showering countless blessings upon people, they behave in an ungrateful, faithless and rebellious manner towards Him. He does not punish them immediately, but gives them respite, for He is forgiving and compassionate. This is true of both individuals and communities. There are people who deny even the existence of God, yet He goes on bestowing His favors on them for years. There are others who set up partners with Him in His attributes, power and rights, and show their gratitude to others than Him for His blessings, yet He does not withhold His favors from them. There are still others who profess to acknowledge Him as their Creator and Benefactor, yet rebel against Him and are disobedient to Him and consider freedom from Him to be their birthright. But in spite of all this He continues to shower His countless blessings on them as long as they live.
وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ مَا تُسِرُّونَ وَمَا تُعْلِنُونَ
Allah knows all that you conceal and all that you disclose.
18. A grave misunderstanding might arise as to why Allah's blessings should continue to be showered even on those who deny Him and set up partners with Him and are disobedient to Him. The foolish people are liable to conclude from this that He does not withhold His favors from such people because He has no knowledge of their wicked deeds. The Quran declares, even though He has full knowledge of all the deeds of the people, whether these are done secretly or openly, He does not discontinue His blessings on the sinners, for He is forgiving, compassionate and merciful. Therefore, O people, get rid of this misunderstanding and reform yourselves.
وَالَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ لَا يَخْلُقُونَ شَيْئًا وَهُمْ يُخْلَقُونَ
Those whom they call upon beside Allah have created nothing. Rather, they themselves were created.
أَمْوَاتٌ غَيْرُ أَحْيَاءٍ وَمَا يَشْعُرُونَ أَيَّانَ يُبْعَثُونَ
They are dead, not living. They do not even know when they will be resurrected.
19. The words employed here to refute man-made deities clearly indicate that these deities were deceased prophets, saints, martyrs and pious and other extraordinary beings buried in their graves and not angels, jinns, devils or idols. For the angels and devils are alive, therefore, the words, they are dead, not living, cannot apply to them, and it is out of the question to say about idols of stone or wood that, they do not know at all when they shall again be raised to life, in the hereafter. As regards the objection to this version that there were no such deities in Arabia, this is based on the lack of knowledge of the history of the pre-Islamic period. It is well known that there was a large number of Jews and Christians living among many clans of Arabia, who used to invoke and worship their prophets, saints, etc. It is also a fact that many gods of the mushriks of Arabia were human beings, whose idols they had set up for worship after their death. According to a tradition cited in Bukhari on the authority of Ibn Abbas, Wad, Swa, Yaghut, Yak, and Nasr were pious human beings, whom the succeeding generations had made gods. In another tradition, related by Aisha, Asaf and Nailal were human beings. There are also traditions
to the same effect about Lat, Munit and Uzza. So much so that according to some traditions of the mushriks, Lat and Uzza were the beloved ones of Allah who used to pass his winter with Lat and summer with Uzza. But Allah is absolutely free from such absurd things they attribute to him.
إلهكم إله واحد فالذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة قلوبهم منكرة وهم مستكبرون.
Your God is the one God. But the hearts of those who do not believe in the hereafter are steeped in rejection of the truth, and they are given to arrogance.
20. That is, those who do not believe in the life in the hereafter, have become so irresponsible, carefree and intoxicated with the life of this world, that they feel no hesitation or pang in denying any reality, and they put no value on or attach no worth to truth. That is why, they are not prepared to impose any moral restraint on themselves and feel no need to investigate as to whether the way they are following is right or wrong.
لا جرم أن الله يعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون إنه لا يحب المستكبرين.
Surely, Allah knows all that they conceal and all that they disclose. He certainly does not love those who are steeped in arrogance.
وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُم مَّاذَا أَنزَلَ رَبُّكُمْ قَالُوا أَسَاطِيرُ الْأَوَّلِينَ.
When they are asked, "What is it that your Lord has revealed?" they answer, "They are merely tales of olden times."
21. In the preceding, ayat 23, those arrogant people who were rejecting the message were warned that Allah has full knowledge of all their deeds. Now from ayat 24, the Quran takes up those deeds one by one and deals with the arguments they presented against the Messenger, peace be upon him, the objections they raised and the lame excuses they invented for their rejection, and reproaches and admonishes them. 22. One of their cunning devices was to create doubts about the Quran. Whenever outsiders came to visit Makkah, they would naturally make inquiries about the Quran, which the Prophet, peace be upon him, declared, was being sent down to him by Allah. The disbelievers would answer that it contained merely fairy tales of the ancients. They would say such things in order to create doubts in the minds of the inquirers so that they should not take any interest in the message of the Prophet, peace be upon him.
When they are asked, "What is it that your Lord has revealed?" As news about the Prophet's call spread all around, people asked the Meccans wherever they went about him and the Quran and its contents.
لِيَحْمِلُوا أَوْزَارَهُمْ كَامِلَةً يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَمِنْ أَوْزَارِ الَّذِينَ يُضِلُّونَهُم بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ أَلَا سَاءَ مَا يَزِرُونَ.
They say so, that they may bear the full weight of their burdens on the day of resurrection, and also of the burdens of those whom they misled on account of their ignorance. What a heavy burden are they undertaking to bear!
قد مكر الذين من قبلهم فأتى الله بنيانهم من القواعد فخر عليهم السقف من فوقهم وأتاهم العذاب من حيث لا يشعرون.
Surely, many people before them had plotted in a similar manner to vanquish the truth, but Allah uprooted the whole structure of their plot from its foundations, so that the roof fell in upon them, and the chastisement of Allah visited them from unknown directions.
ثم يوم القيامة يخزيهم ويقول أين شركائي الذين كنتم تشاقون فيهم قال الذين أوتوا العلم إن الخزي اليوم والسوء على الكافرين.
And again, on the day of resurrection, He will bring them to disgrace and say, Tell me now, where are those to whom you ascribed a share in my divinity, and for whose sake you disputed with the upholders of the truth? Those who were endowed with knowledge in the world will say, Surely, today humiliation and misery shall be the lot of the unbelievers.
23. There is a gap between this answer and the preceding question which has been left for the reader to fill. When Allah will ask, Now where are my partners? There will be dead silence in the plain where the entire mankind shall have to gather on the occasion of resurrection. The disbelievers and the mushriks will be dumbfounded, for they will be at a loss to find an answer to this. Then those who had been given knowledge will make the assertion, Indeed, disgrace, this day, and evil are upon the disbelievers.
الذين تتوفاهم الملائكة ظالمي أنفسهم فألقوا السلم ما كنا نعمل من سوء بلى إن الله عليم بما كنتم تعملون.
The same unbelievers who, when the angel sees them and cause them to die while they are engaged in wrongdoing, they will proffer their submission, saying, We were engaged in no evil. The angels will answer them, Surely, Allah knows well all that you did.
24. This is Allah's addition to the previous assertion, and not its continuation. Those commentators, who have wrongly considered this as continuation of the preceding sentence, are unable to offer any satisfactory explanation for their opinion. 25. That is, when the angels take possession of their souls at the time of death.
أدخلوا أبواب جهنم خالدين فيها فلبئس مثوى المتكبرين.
Go now and enter the gate of hell and abide in it forever. Evil indeed is the abode of the arrogant.
26. The ayats 28 and 32, and several other verses in the Quran, clearly and definitely assert that immediately after death, souls suffer torment or enjoy peace in the world of barzakh. The traditions use the word qabr, grave, metaphorically for this existence of the souls. This is the world in which souls enter immediately after death and will remain therein up to the day of resurrection. Yet the disbelievers of the traditions declare that after death souls will remain in a dormant state up to the time of resurrection, and will neither feel any pain nor joy, nor will be conscious of anything at all. Obviously, this is a wrong opinion. For, according to ayat 28, just after death when the disbelievers will be conscious of the fact that they had been leading an evil life, they will try to make the angels believe that they had not done any evil deed. The angels will rebuke them at this boldness and will tell them that they shall have to go into hell. On the other hand, according to verse 32, just after their death, the pious believers are welcomed by the angels and given the good news that they will enter into paradise. Besides these verses, there is the mention of a dialogue between the angels and those Muslims who did not migrate to Al-Madinah after their souls were seized by the angels in Surah An-Nisa, Ayat 97. Above all, according to Surah Al-Mu'min, Ayats 45 to 46, the people of Pharaoh have been encircled by a torment and are exposed before the fire of hell every morning and every evening. This will go on till the day of resurrection when they shall be sentenced to eternal torment. In fact, both the Quran and the traditions present the same kind of picture of the condition of the soul after death till resurrection. Death causes merely the separation of the soul from the body but does not annihilate it. The soul lives with the same personality that was formed by the different experiences and the mental exercises and moral activities it had in its worldly life in cooperation with the body. This nature of the consciousness, feelings, observations and experiences of the soul, during the waiting period, is similar to that in a dream. Just as a criminal sentenced to death suffers from mental torture on the eve of his crucifixion, in the same way the angels take to task the guilty as in a dream, torture it and take it to the horrible hell in order to make it foretaste the impending torture. In contrast to this, the pure soul is welcomed by the angels and is given the good news of entry into paradise and is made to enjoy its pleasant breeze and smell, and to feel happy like the faithful servant who is invited to the headquarters to receive his reward. But this life in the world of barzakh will suddenly come to an end on the second blowing of the trumpet of resurrection. When the guilty souls will again enter into their former bodies and muster in the plain, they will cry in horror, "Oh! Woe to us! Who has roused us from our sleeping places?" But the true believers will say with perfect peace of mind, "This is exactly what the Beneficent had promised, and the messengers had told the truth." Surah Yasin, Ayat 52. As the guilty ones will be under the delusion that they had been lying in their deathbed for an hour or so and had been roused from sleep. Those who were given knowledge and faith will say, according to the record of Allah, "You have remained after death till this day of resurrection and this is the same day of resurrection, but you did not know this." Surah Ar-Rum, Ayats 55 to 56.